You know, it's easy in modern life to forget who lives next door. We drive into our garages, close the door, and the rhythm of our lives often keep us inside. But I've always believed architecture has the power to change that. This project is proof of that. It's a real, built amenity center I designed for a new residential community here in the outskirts of Austin. A place where neighbors can meet, where friendships can grow, and where people can feel proud of the place they live. It sits high on a hill overlooking the pool and the neighborhood below. And it's not meant to stand out as a monument, but to settle in, to feel welcoming, approachable, and connected to the land. Today I want to take you through it. The very first idea was separation but connection. Two distinct wings, each with its own purpose, but held together under one roof. On the right, a great room, fireplace, and a covered pavilion that blurs the line between indoors and out. On the left, a fitness center, restrooms, and a community office. And between them, a breezeway. That breezeway becomes the hinge of the whole design. Because in community architecture, the spaces in between matter most. They're the places where you pause, where you wave, where you meet someone walking by. That's why the roofline is low and horizontal. It doesn't dominate the hilltop, it settles into it, like it's always belonged there. Because the goal wasn't to make a statement, but to make people feel at home. When the design was complete, this is us in construction, and this is where the ideas start becoming real. You can see here how the long roofline stretches across the site and how the breezeway cuts through as the heart of the design. It's one thing to sketch a concept on paper, but when you walk the site and see these forms rising out of the hill, that's when you know a project is becoming part of the community. But before that, how did we get there? Here's the overall model I built in Revit. You can see the roofline tying the two wings together into one gesture. If we orbit around, notice how the building stays humble. No tall, imposing pieces, just a rhythm that mirrors the slope of the land. Now let's step inside the spaces. On the right wing, a great room anchoring the design. It's flexible, proportioned for comfort. A place for birthdays, meetings, or just a quiet evening by the fire. That fireplace works both ways, indoors and outdoors. So whether you're in the great room or under the pavilion, you share the same hearth. On the left wing, the fitness center and support spaces. The idea is to encourage daily use. When neighbors see each other here regularly, conversations happen naturally. Even the small office was intentional, giving the community a central point of organization. And here, right in the middle, is that breezeway. It's not just circulation, it's a threshold. From here, you feel the breeze roll over the hilltop. You see the pool below, and the rooftops stretching into the distance. It frames community life into a single view. During construction, the materials started to define the building. Stone walls began grounding it to the earth. Timber softened the forms, giving them warmth, and the standing seam metal roof tied everything together with durability. Even at this stage, before finishes, before landscaping, you can feel the character of the building emerging. It's becoming not just a structure, but a place of presence. We designed the material language that was simple and drawn from Texas Hill Country. Limestone for weight and permanence. Wood for warmth and approachability. Metal for strength and longevity. Philosophically, these aren't just materials. They're symbols of belonging. When a building reflects its land, it reflects its people. It quietly tells us you belong here together. Inside the great room, natural light filters through the glass, with deep overhangs keeping the heat at bay. The pavilion outside is an extension of the land itself, just a roof and a structure open to the breeze. Now imagine yourself walking up the hill. The approach slows you down step by step, and when you reach the breezeway, the first thing you feel is the wind carrying sounds of the pool below, and the laughter echoing up the slope. Step into the great room, and it's warm, comfortable, familiar. Neighbors gather here, planning events, celebrating holidays, watching the big game together. The fireplace glows, connecting inside and outside. Step under the pavilion and the horizon opens wide. From here you see the whole neighborhood. Children run toward the pool, friends linger and talk. The building itself fades into the background because what really matters are the people. Now move across the breezeway and the fitness center hums with energy. It's not just about exercise, it's about rhythm. Daily rituals, repeated encounters, and the steady weaving of relationships over time. This was always the intent of the building. A building that disappears into community life, but shapes it quietly in the background. I think a lot about how architecture shapes our lives without us even realizing it. This project may never make headlines. It won't be featured in glossy magazines. But for the people who live here, it matters deeply. It's where they first meet their neighbors, where they celebrate milestones, where they rest at the end of a long week. Looking back at these construction moments, steel rising, stone being stacked, it's powerful to see how sketches and models become real places to hold people's stories. That's what makes architecture meaningful. Not the form, not the photos, but the way it nurtures community life. Thank you for spending time with me on this project. If you enjoyed this, consider subscribing for more explorations on how design shapes the way we live. And if you'd like to support my work, you can join me on Patreon, where I share behind-the-scenes contents and early access to future projects. And as always, stay curious and design with intent.